Hi everyone, I'm Nicole xstitch. Today is April 2nd, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 11. As of today, I have stitched 169,180 stitches since I started stitching in 2020, and I have stitched 6,300 stitches since my last video. Now, I mean that as since my last Flosstube video, which was about 2 weeks ago now, but I'm finally back, and I'm glad to be back. I got back from Hawaii on Sunday, really late, practically Monday, and have been adjusting back to normal work since then. But I'm really excited to share with you the cross-stitch progress that I made over the last 2 weeks. I do want to start out with some new shoutouts. One of my early videos I talked about Flosstubers you needed to watch. A lot of those Flosstubers were people that I have been watching for a really long time, months if not years, since I started cross-stitching. But the lovely thing about actually putting out Flosstube videos is that you get to meet so many more people that you maybe never would have found otherwise. And so I'd like to shout out a few people who have actually shouted me out on their channels or left me really sweet comments, and then I started watching their videos and fell in love with their Flosstube as well. The first person is Cam the Stitcher. She is awesome. She stitches a lot of like spooky Halloween-y alternative type things. They are not always the things that I would stitch myself, but they're things that if they fit my style I would have. She also always has like really awesome dyed hair and really out of this world makeup, so 10 out of 10 would recommend watching Cam the Stitcher. And then I found out about the next Flosstuber from Cam the Stitcher, and that is Marjorie Maid. She is also incredible. I think her style somewhat overlaps with Cameron's, but you know, she's got her own quirks and things that she likes, and her channel is really enjoyable to watch. I feel like something that I look for in Flosstubers is not just that their projects are, you know, similar to mine. I don't always just want to watch somebody show things that I've already or would stitch myself. I like to see, you know, things that maybe I wouldn't stitch, and different types of styles and things. But I really also look for awesome personalities, and Cam and Marjorie are both just incredible personalities, extremely fun to watch. The next person I'd like to mention is Microbiologist Makes. Microbiologist Makes is another PhD student who is studying microbiology. So I had to give her a watch because of that. You know, PhD students, we have to stick together. There's not too many of us in the cross-stitchy world. She does a lot of, I want to say, samplers and kind of like quicker style things. It's been a minute since I watched her videos, so I'm not 100% sure. But also introduced me to some more of Sprouting Lupine's patterns, which are absolutely gorgeous. So I would highly recommend you watch Microbiologist Makes. She's a pretty new Flosstuber as well. All three of these people are relatively new, but she only makes videos approximately every month, so there's not too much to catch up on yet. You can start from the beginning. And then lastly, I'd like to mention Kensington Cross Stitch. Again, a stitcher who, while she frequently stitches things that are not my style, is really enjoyable to watch. And she has a really cool temperature chart she's working on based on a pattern that looks like a supernova, I think. It's quite neat. So I would highly recommend you check out all of these Flosstubers, and I will leave their handles in the description box below so you can find them really easily. Alrighty, so on to the stitchy content. Let's see here. So like normal, no finishes, no fully finishes, and no new starts. But I will have some new starts pretty soon here for the month of April. I just haven't started them quite yet. And I do have a lot of progress to show you. So I'll also be doing my monthly kind of progress wrap-up that I do in this video, and that's kind of, that is basically the same thing as my whip progress at this point. So we'll just do those together. So the two things that I worked on since I saw you last were WorksbyABC Elegant Lace and ZephyrMood Ocean Wave. And these were my Whip Go goals for March. I have hit both my Whip Go goals now, but one of them I didn't hit until morning of April 1st. So I'm counting that as a complete, but not exactly on time. And I'll show you my Whip Go board later. So let's start with Ocean Wave. Okay, so here is a picture of the final like mock-up pattern for Ocean Wave. It's a really cool aerial view of a wave hitting the sand, and it's patterned by ZephyrMood. I had a Whip Go goal of hitting 33%, 33.33, a third of the way, by the end of March. And I did that. So here is what it looks like now. And as you can see, I'm doing this full cross. It is on 18 count, just white Ada from Michaels. I'm doing it in the called for DMC 2/1 full cross. And I will put in a picture here of where I was 2 weeks ago when I showed this to you. I made a lot of progress since then. You can see I'm doing some kind of funny fill-in up here because this is all the same color. So I've just been kind of going back and forth and up and down in rows filling in this space. And I wanted to move up and define this top edge because it was really easy block stitching to do all of one color at the end when I was like trying to hit my goal. So I showed this to you 2 weeks ago and I said, I think I can knock this goal out of the park because I'm gonna take this with me on my trip to Hawaii and I'm gonna have lots of time to stitch on the plane. And long story short, that's not exactly what happened. I still hit my goal. I am currently at 3,178 stitches out of a total 9,532, which puts me at 33.34%. So I hit my goal and I finished that on the 31st of March. So just squeezed by. And then so I did not knock this goal out of the park. In my head, I thought, maybe I can even get to 50% because this is the only cross-stitch project that I'm going to work on when I'm in Hawaii. And then I got carried away with some other crafts, which I will talk about later. So that is ZephyrMood Ocean Wave, and it will be going away until it is called again on Whip Go for the next 1/3 of progress. Oh, and I normally like to do this, but I forgot. I started that one on March 1st, and since then, to get to 1/3 of the way done, I worked on it for 20 days. 20 days in March. Okay, so the next piece is Elegant Lace by WorksbyABC. I will again put the mock-up here. It's a very gorgeous pattern that uses a combination of full cross and half stitch to create this kind of lace effect. And I am stitching it on 36 count Zweigart Sahara linen, that's what it's called. So it's this nice mustardy yellow color. Apologies if the lighting is weird. I normally try to film during the day, but I did not have time today. So we're filming at night with room light and monitor light, kind of weird light. It's fine. So 36 count, I'm doing this over 2, and it's not just stitched with normal 6-stranded DMC. It's actually stitched with the full crosses are stitched with DMC Flosh, which is a really cool thread that is a little bit thicker than 1 strand of DMC 6-stranded cotton. And I will again put this here and put in a picture of where it was last time. And as you can see, I made some pretty good progress this month, got it from 50 to 75%. I started this piece back in 2022, but I don't have an actual date. And I worked on it for 15 days in March. So this was my at-home, at-night stitching project. And I am currently at 14,732 stitches out of a total of 19,369, which puts me at 76.06%. Now, on the night of March 31st, literally at midnight, I was at 74.46%, so not quite 75. And I put it down for the night and picked it up April 1st morning and got it up to 76%. So finished my whip goal for this, not exactly on time, but very close to on time. And that's basically that. Okay. So let's do the wrap up for March. Gosh, not April, geez. So here is my monthly stitching tracker. And as you can see, I had more no stitchy days than usual, but I will give you some statistics. So this month I worked on three different projects, the two that I just showed you, and also Luna Moth from Wild Bluebell Patterns. I only worked on that one for one day though, and that was a long time ago, so you saw it back then. I had no new starts or finishes this month. And I had 27 out of 31 possible stitchy days. So 4 days of no stitching this month. A lot of that was due to travel and doing outreach in Hawaii, and I was just too tired to work on cross stitches some days, which is totally fine. And I currently have 6 whips, same as the end of last month, and I forgot to write down my actual number. But I stitched a total of 7,969 stitches this month, which, if you remember, sounds like a smaller number than January and February. And I kind of have this like downward trend going. So back in January, I did about 12,000 stitches. In February, about 10,000. And I chalked that up to it being a slightly shorter month. And now I'm down to like 8,000. So what the hell is happening there? Well, my guess at why this is happening is that I was doing a lot more full cross stitching this month than the last two. In January and February, I was working on Hidden Harbor as one of my whip go calls, and that is a full coverage piece that I'm doing in half stitch. So I count these stitches, I count full cross and half cross the same when I'm counting up my stitches. And so obviously half stitch gives you like a boost in the number of stitches you can do in any given time. Now also Elegant Lace does have a fair amount of half stitches in it, but it also has a fair amount of full crosses. So I think that is part of the reason why this number is smaller, as well as the fact that I had 4 days that I just didn't stitch at all. So that is my monthly wrap up. That puts me at a total of 30,985 stitches this year so far. So 3 months, 30,000 stitches. I'm hoping we can get to 120,000, maybe 125,000 by the end of the year. I think that would be really awesome. Cool. So that is my monthly progress wrap up and all of the whip progress that I have since I saw you 2 weeks ago. Hopefully, even though it's only 2 projects, you feel like you got to see some like pretty good progress in that amount of time. So what am I going to be doing in April? Well, I will put up, again, let me scoot over, a picture of my whip go board with the April calls. So April calls were 5 and 17. For me, this was another 5% on my Heaven and Earth Design Hidden Harbor, which love that piece. It's all of my squares that I put on for it. Out of 5, 3 have now been called. So really front loading the progress on this one. And then the next project is one of the mini art patterns from TheStitchPatterns called The Kiss. And so that one is just a small, something like 28 by 38 maybe, full coverage art piece that is kind of like a simplified version of the painting called The Kiss. And of course I can't remember the artist's name of the original painting, so let me look that up. Gustav Klimt. Yes, The Kiss. It's a gorgeous piece. I'm excited to do another mini art piece. It's been a little bit since I've done one of those. They're really good bust projects, so that will be my bust project. Hidden Harbor will be my at-home project. But I'm not planning to start the month with those. So I am planning to start the month by continuing to work on the Luna moth that my friend commissioned for me. I'm a little bit behind on my progress on that one, and I'm hoping that I can give the finished piece to her by the end of April. I might be pushing it, but I'm hoping by the end of April I can at least have the stitching finished so that I can do all the Foley finishing before I send it to her. So I'm going to be starting off with Luna moth, and I'm also going to be starting off with a second project that will be my bust project. That one's a secret for now, but you should be able to see it in a week or two, so I'll show you then. So those will be the 4 main projects that I work on this month, that you'll continue to see for the next 3-ish floss tubes. So keep an eye out for all of those. Okay, I also don't have any purchases, so nothing to show there, though I did get another $5 Michaels voucher. Those things are such a treat every time you get them. This one was like randomly sent to my boyfriend, and so he emailed it to me because he doesn't really shop at Michaels, but he has a rewards account and I get to reap all the benefits from it. So I have $5 of free money to spend at Michaels, and I'm planning to go to Michaels sometime this week, hopefully, with my housemate, because she needs some things from Michaels. So probably I will pick up some floss colors that I'm running low on, and that's probably about it. So nothing too exciting to look out for in the purchases section. Again, I try not to spend too terribly much money on cross-stitching supplies when I have plenty to work on. I like to keep my WIP numbers low, so for now, not a lot of purchasing needs to happen. Okay, and then I will spend a minute talking about some non-cross-stitch things. If you don't care about my non-cross-stitch related crafts, feel free to skip to the next segment where I'll talk about some life updates and what's coming next week and all of that. If you do like things like knitting, maybe stick around. So the reason that I didn't make as much progress on Ocean Wave as I wanted to was that I started knitting. So for a while I have had this, well, now kind of floppy ball of yarn, which is a Lion brand Heartland. It's like, I think, a relatively new Lion brand yarn line. This yarn is really nice. It's acrylic, but it's like nice and soft. It's really nice to work with. It's about like a medium number 4 weight yarn, and I had this yarn sent to me, or gifted to me, by my boyfriend's mom, who also has a love for kind of fiber arts. And I was wondering what to do with it for a long time, because it's, you know, kind of this nice beige color, but doesn't really look great on my skin tone necessarily, so maybe not an item of clothing for me. And then I remembered that I have stitched multiple very cute little pet sweaters in the recent past. One for a dog and one for a cat. But there's a very important dog in my life that did not have a pet sweater and needed one. And that dog's name is Herbie. So I feel like I should throw in a picture of Herbie for reference, and also because dogs are cute. So Herbie is my lovely housemate and very good friend Ariana's boyfriend's dog. And he is at our house frequently because of that, and we all love Herbie. So Herbie is a black dog, and I thought that this beige color would look very nice on him, as kind of like an old man little cardigan sweater. So that's what I made. It's not quite done yet, but it's like 90% done. So that's what I was doing on the plane to and from Hawaii for a good portion of my time, was knitting this. So here's what it looks like so far. It has a cute little ribbed collar, and then it's got the armholes down here. So I'm probably not gonna make sleeves for it because I don't think Herbie would like having little sleeves. He has his arms kind of go out like this. So sleeves don't always fit him super well. So I'm just going to crochet around, sorry, holding up knitting on camera is harder than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna like crochet around the edge of these just to give them a nice like finished edge, because that's really all I know how to do. And then I added to this pattern also a hole on the top, like after his neck, which is where his harness like attachment for the leash goes, so that he can still wear this when he has this harness on to keep him warm in the winter. It is kind of cold in Seattle, and he does have a lot of nice outerwear, so I'm hoping to add this to his repertoire. And then you can see it kind of goes out to cover his back, but stays low in the tummy area like most dog sweaters. And this is the part that I have not finished yet, so I need to basically pick up all these stitches on this end and then knit around this opening in the back to add a nice ribbed edge, and then it'll be done. So a little bit more ribbing around this edge, maybe an inch, inch and a half, and then just crocheting a nice edge around the leg holes and the leash hole, and it'll be done. I did a test fit on Herbie of it like this. It's a little bit tight in his arms right now, so I'll probably need to try to like block it a little bit once I'm done with it, but I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. And yeah, I think the color looks really good on him. I will report back with a picture of him wearing it when I'm done and I give it to him, which I don't know when that will be. I was in a very knitty mood when I was on the plane, because it's like easy and you don't have to think too much, and you kind of just, I find that once I start knitting, I get into a rhythm and I just don't want to put it down. It's really easy to watch something while you're knitting too. I still watch things all the time when I'm cross-stitching, don't get me wrong, but with knitting I feel like you can look up more than with cross-stitching. So I was really enjoying that project. Hopefully I'll finish it by the end of this month, but honestly, who knows? I have a lot of stitching to do. I have a lot of goals for this month, and we have no idea. I have no idea if I'm gonna hit them all or not. Okay, so that's all for knitting. I don't knit too frequently. I also know how to crochet, but I don't crochet almost ever anymore. So if you don't like that stuff, don't worry. It won't be that frequent, if ever, that I show you knitting. But also, if you're interested, I have knit a few, I think, notable things in the past. And I have also crocheted a lot. Crochet was like my main crafty form when I was, I want to say like middle school to high school age. I crocheted a lot of things. So if you're interested in seeing a history of stem xstitch non-stitchy crafting, including knitting, crochet, and I don't know, maybe some other things, I can't think of any off the top of my head, let me know and I can make it into a little special segment in one of my videos and just show you some of the other crafts that I've done in the past and what I've made with them. So let me know if you're interested in that down below. But let's move on to some life updates. So I was in Hawaii. It was amazing. That was not this past week, but the week before, which is why I did not release a normal Flosstube video at the end of that week and instead released a mini tutorial of how I finish things as a flat fold, which I had filmed a while back and was kind of saving up for this occasion. So this is kind of my special segment for this video. I don't have anything else to share, unfortunately, but I wanted to just spend a little bit more time talking about why I was in Hawaii and how it went and all of that. So as much as Hawaii is a lovely, lovely place to vacation, I was there partially for work and partially for fun. So the main reason I was in Hawaii was to do STEM outreach at a variety of middle and high schools around Oahu. This was a project that was basically in collaboration with the University of Washington and the University of Hawaii, who have a partnership. So basically this partnership allows us to travel to Hawaii. It was a group of graduate students who are all very involved in the STEM Pals outreach program that I work with frequently. All really lovely people. And we went to Hawaii to train some undergraduate students at the University of Hawaii on some of the outreach that we do, and then also to teach about nanoscience at all of these high schools. It was a really good time. We had 7 outreach teachers basically from University of Washington come, and then a variety of University of Hawaii students actually come into the classrooms with us on different days and work with us and the students and kind of get that hands-on training. We visited 5 different schools on Oahu, and we were able to serve, I think, around 500 students there over the course of 3 days. So I got there on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were all outreach, and then I stayed Saturday and Sunday, partway through Sunday, flew home on Sunday evening for a little bit of vacation. So it was a really good trip. The outreach was extremely rewarding. I feel really thankful that I got to be a part of that, and that I got to not only work with all these amazing graduate students and undergraduates at UW to do this outreach, but also get to meet all of these amazing students in Hawaii and get to interact with them and kind of strengthen the connection between our universities by also getting to train some University of Hawaii students. It was a really, really neat experience. I never could have imagined that I would have done anything like that in grad school. I don't know. I didn't even know that that was an option for outreach. So that was really, really cool. Yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I guess I could talk a little bit about the vacation part of it, which was also super amazing. First of all, it is lovely to get out of Seattle when it is wintry weather here, because it is, even though it's, you know, pushing April, we still have a lot of really gray, dark, rainy days, even though our sunsets are later in the day now, thankfully. When it's gray out, it's gray out. It does not feel like a nice late sunset. So enjoying the beach, enjoying the warm weather and the sun was really nice. It was a bit of adjustment to come back to Seattle. Also, it's very strange to be slightly sunburnt, but also in a cold climate. I really sunburned the back of my neck because I forgot to put sunscreen on. And now it is peeling, which is not fun. But the beaches are absolutely gorgeous. It was really cool to get to visit a variety of beaches around the island, and also go visit some of the museums there and kind of try to educate ourselves on Hawaiian culture and how we could maybe incorporate and acknowledge, you know, Hawaiian culture and the issues that are important to these students in Hawaii in our outreach efforts. So I was really thankful to be there, also really thankful to get to interact with another UW graduate student who happened to be living in Hawaii and who is native Hawaiian while we were there, who spoke to us more about Hawaiian culture and how we can be more educated on subjects like that. So it was, again, a really lovely event, lovely vacation, lovely people, 10 out of 10. So that's about all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I hope you didn't mind the hiatus. And next week, my plan is for this special segment that I like to do, is to do a big Q&A, because it's been a while since I've answered a lot of questions from the comments. I've accumulated some about monetization and some other questions from comments lately that I've just been saving up for this. But if you have any questions that you want to ask me, please leave them in the comments below. I'll collect them all up, and then next week when I film my video, I'll try to answer as many of them as I can. It can be stitching related, it can be science related, it can be outreach related, it can be science communication related, it could be other crafty related, or it could be something completely different about me, about Seattle, whatever you want. I would love to answer questions and just share more about myself and get to know you all better in the process. So I hope to see you next week for that. And until then, I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next time. Bye.